Thank you, listeners. It is Tuesday. That's the day we set aside to get caught up in Elko City news. And we so appreciate our guest today from the city of Elko. We have our city manager, Jan Baum. Welcome, Jan. Great to see you.
I know it's been a while. Thank you. Thank you for having me, and I'm glad to be here on Election Day.
It is Election Day. We're going to go over that first thing just to remind everybody. And Jan, it's in between meetings, so we have a special guest today to talk about a really cool accomplishment.
Yes, absolutely. We have our very own animal shelter manager, Alyssa Mangum, and she's been the manager of the animal shelter now 2 years, I believe, and she's just doing an amazing job, and she just has a real passion for her animals, of course, and we're thrilled to have her.
Awesome. Well, we're going to get to meet you, Alyssa. Well, actually, you're back because you've been on the program before, and so I know you were chomping at the bit to tell everybody this exciting news, so we're going to go over that with you. Thank you. But first, with Jan, we're going to talk about Election Day today because obviously polls are open till 7. For some people, we were talking about this too, it's a really cool tradition to vote on Election Day, but
Absolutely.
Be prepared.
Oh, yes, be prepared. There are going to be lines, and of course, City Hall is right next door to the convention center, and so if you're wondering where to vote, it's at the convention center, and there are some lines. I see a lot of cars and some lines out the door, but it's worth it. And exercise your right to vote. Many men died for our right to vote, and so just so thankful for that right to vote, and so take advantage of that and exercise your right to vote today. And we did talk about this a little bit before the show, but the polls are open from 7 to 7, and Annette Robinson, our Elko clerk, she is there today all day, and she made sure renewing the management meeting the other day that if you get there at before 7 or at 7, they will close the doors, but if you're in line, you will get to vote. They will leave the doors open, or they will allow people to vote until they are finished. So don't be intimidated.
Yes, go vote, get in line. It may take some time. And then, as you said, at 7 o'clock, I think the goal is, or at least in the past, they've been able to, literally kind of go to the end of the line and say, okay, everybody here, we're going to go push inside. There's room for everybody, but be kind, be neighborly. Let's stay in line. And then that way everybody can be inside and be warm while they're voting.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
it's chilly
it's
out there
chilly
today. There is a very chilly breeze in the air, and you're right, it's chilly. So, but don't let that intimidate you either. Put on a coat and go stand in line. Yes,
and there's some cute hats. So get a hat, put on some gloves, stand in line, and again, just feel that joy, I guess, of having that privilege. I'm so glad you mentioned that because people forget. We're coming up on Veterans Day, too, on Monday, Jan.
Absolutely.
Yes.
The patriotism of being able to vote is just wonderful. And we were saying before the show that when I was a kid, we lived in Montana by a very small town, and it was a family affair. We would all jump in the car and go vote together, and even though we were too small to vote, but our parents, we'd watch them vote, and it was just, it was a family activity. So it's great to exercise your vote.
Yep.
Your right to vote.
You can take your kids with you, obviously, because
Absolutely.
It's nice to include them in those things. Yeah.
So get them
cool.
in the habit.
Yep.
Right. Every 4. Yep.
Yeah, every 4 years.
So, and we have 2 council people up for election. Claire Morris is up for re-election, and Mandy Simons is termed out. So she will be done, and there are 2 additional people running, Marissa Lostra and Michael Hagan.
Yep, and Claire is seeking re-election, as you mentioned. So the top 2 vote getters, it's a nonpartisan race. So don't forget as you go down ballot, because I know so much attention's paid during a presidential election, to who those candidates are. But there's so many local races that really need our votes and attention too.
Absolutely. There's several commissioners up, and you're right, the 2 city council, and we have a lot of local elections. So for sure, look through the whole ballot, and I think 7 questions as well.
Yes,
So,
definitely. And your sample ballot, I know it sounds kind of tedious, but go through that. It's actually, I thought the explanations were pretty well written this time compared to what I've seen in the past. I think they tried to use just plain language
right
in some of those. Yeah, not so much
dumb it down for me. Right?
Yeah, well, for all
so
of
it's
us.
kind of nice to be able to read them and understand them. You're right; they're very complicated. When you're amending the Constitution, it's complicated.
So those are all some considerations today. Again, the polls close at 7, but if you are in line, you will be admitted inside. Oh, and something else that Becky Plunkett wanted to make sure people know. There are a considerable number of signatures that were not matching. It doesn't mean that the people are cheating. It just means that sometimes, even if you voted in every election, your signature changes, Jan, and this is just one of the safeguards in place.
Right. So when you go in, they will have you sign, and they will compare. And actually, I was one of those. I was one of those people. So the clerk's office was going to work on getting that fixed, and it still allowed me to vote and counted my votes. So that's good.
Yeah. So if you did a mail-in ballot, it's possible that your name could be on the website. She said there were about 60 names at elkocountynv.net. Go to the clerk's page and then drill down. You'll see where you can, and it actually lists your name on there. If your signature didn't match the ballot that was cast in your name, you simply need to contact the clerk's office, and then they'll fix that up right away. If for some reason something went wrong, that's how they catch it. Right?
Oh, wonderful.
Yes.
Right. So that's, great information. So people need to make sure to utilize that website.
Yeah, it's called Curing the Ballot. You have until November 12th to do it, but if you really want to be in and counted, by today, tonight, that kind of thing, 9,317 ballots, I think, cast early.
Right. What a great turnout. I want to say, so what a great turnout early. I always like to vote on election day, and I voted early this year. So anyway, but it was easy and went in and got it done. But there's something special about voting on election day.
Yeah, and it was great to see neighbors and just all the friendly poll workers. And do be kind, do be courteous. They're there. Most of them are volunteers.
Absolutely.
They put in a ton of hours to get ready for this. And don't wear any insignia, any kind of campaign materials or pins or hats or anything, just, because it's a law, but also because we're neighborly. So, you can put it back on when you go outside.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's that. And then there was one more thing, too, that if I don't think of it in the next instant, but I do know that our county clerk, Rebecca Plunkett, has just been working super hard, and she wants to make sure people have a very good experience when they go to vote today. So check for those cured signatures, and then make sure you're there, by 7 o'clock. You can, that's the other thing. If you have a mail-in ballot, you can bring it to surrender it if you want to vote in person. That's the easiest thing to do, to surrender it in person. Or you can get there and say, wow, the lines are really long. I think I'll just fill out this mail-in ballot and then deposit it in a box at the convention center. So you can do that.
Perfect. And I think also you can do it by mail if it's postmarked today.
You are right. Yes. So, and that makes me nervous because I don't know in the post office if they're like till 3 o'clock or something, right?
It's not 5 or 6 anymore like it was in the olden days.
Yes, we had our processing center here.
Yeah, I would do the box in the convention center. I think that would probably be the best option if you're going to mail it or deposit it for sure.
I know I hand delivered one, and you can do this too. If you're helping somebody, you can, as long as they fill out their ballot all by themselves, they sign it, they do all the things, you can drop off that ballot for them. Say they're homesick or something's up, you can, and I took mine to the county clerk's office, and she said, we have to cure the signature, and I got nervous thinking, what if they think, and it was fine.
Right.
So,
fine.
It was fine. Yep.
Which is great.
We're all doing our part.
Absolutely,
yes.
Right? And I think that even at a state level, they're really making a great effort to get all votes counted and accurately.
Yep. We want to reassure people and to trust and have value. Again, our local clerk and all of our volunteers, our poll workers, everybody has worked so hard to preserve the integrity of our local elections.
Absolutely. Thankful to them. Thank you
Yes.
to all of them.
Thank you, friends, and thank you, neighbors. Jan, thank you so much for coming on the radio show.
Oh, of
and
course, my pleasure. And now we
Yeah.
have the star of the show
we do,
next to me.
and we didn't. Yeah, we wanted to show Alyssa how easy it is because she's the animal shelter manager, Alyssa Mangum, and I think Alyssa, your job is really the tough job. Although I'm sure there are days where it's just so rewarding when you see animals reunited or you see families pick out a pet of their choice.
Well, thank you for having me on the show. And yes, my job is hard, but the reward in the end is it outweighs, the bad days. So I am grateful to have this opportunity, to do what I enjoy and what I'm passionate about too.
Well, we're so fortunate. You have some experience, obviously, before you took this job a couple of years, right, in handling animals.
So yeah, I've actually been at the shelter for 13 years in total. I have been the manager for 2 years, which seems to be flying by, I guess. Yeah, it definitely has its challenges, but this wonderful accomplishment is something that, we just want to scream from the rooftops. I mean, our staff is excited. I hope our community is excited and happy for us, which I mean, in some of the comments on social media, we have seen that they are excited for us as well, that we've made this accomplishment.
So let's start shouting from the rooftops. Your accomplishment is?
So we are a no-kill facility. This means that we have over a 90% success rate, which includes adoptions, returning to owners. It's a save rate of above 90%.
That's fantastic. And that's been long in coming, right?
Yes. It definitely takes a lot of work, not only from the shelter and the shelter staff, but our community when it comes to adoptions, donations, volunteers. Everybody is included in the success because without any of them, not one person could make this happen by themselves.
Because you're talking about thousands of animals, right, Alyssa?
Yes. So our statistics for the no-kill status went from October of first of last year to October 1st of this year. We had 1,581 pets, come through the shelter, and we found homes for 1,488 of those pets. So we made the 90% success, and we were actually at the 92% success. So we were definitely excited that we made those statistics. It is a hard job because just because we're no kill, there are some certain things that we do still have to watch out for. There are still going to be euthanasias due to the fact of animals coming in ill or untreatable, or behavioral instances that we can't get the animal adopted, but our staff will work as hard as they possibly can to make sure that these animals find good homes.
Alyssa Mangum is our Elko City Animal Shelter Manager, and I know part of the success, you've talked about this, is the collaboration with all the wonderful rescue groups, and we have more rescue groups than we ever had before, right, Alyssa?
Yeah, so we have some wonderful local rescue groups that has helped us get to where we are today. We can definitely give a shout out to Animal House Rescue and Sanctuary, Endless Possibilities, as well as some of the other rescues that are out of town. But Lasso, we have a nonprofit that actually helps support the animal shelter, and they have helped over the years get like the spay neuter clinic, built, and help with the funding and things like that.
Local animal shelter support organization, right, Jan?
Yes, I believe so. And it's Lasso, Lasso, Elko.org is their website. And they do help fund the spay neuter clinic. So their main role right now is to pay for a licensed veterinarian to come in and do spay neuters for us. And Alyssa is totally in charge of organizing all of that. And we will, Alyssa and her staff will spay and neuter, 15 to 20, 25 pets a week.
Wow.
And what a great service to our to our community, and it just really helps control the pet population in our community. So I do want to give one more shout out to Alyssa, because she's not good at this. She's not good at bragging on herself, but I can do it for her. But she is a licensed veterinary tech, and I'm sure Alyssa, she's been with us for 13 years, and she has amazing skills, and she is so valuable, and not only in her skills and what she does every day, but also in training her staff and showing them how to do the spay neuter clinic and how that runs smoothly, but also how an animal shelter operates, and it is much different than a veterinary clinic. And so she's great at educating her staff, and just a great leader.
Well, thanks, Jan. We really appreciate that, and I'm glad that she stepped in to brag about you, Alyssa, because absolutely that's so important. Someone with the skills that you have and the experience and the care, and staff need that kind of guidance, especially in this position. So thank you.
Well, thank you very much for that. And she was talking about how many animals, we have fixed, and the animals that we've fixed year to date. So January 1st of this year to, we did not include today's surgeries, but we have fixed 702 animals through that spay neuter clinic just this year.
That is fantastic, because even someone that's not good at math, you can figure how many unwanted litters would be produced by those animals had they not been spayed or neutered over that course of time. And not just one litter a year, but sometimes more than one litter, and just the numbers and numbers of puppies and kittens.
Right.
There's just the population's not big enough to support it.
Well, exactly. And I mean, that's another instance that we run into problems at the shelter as well, is the space issue. We are not a big facility. We definitely move mountains in our small shelter, but it is definitely hard on space, especially if we get inundated with dogs and cats from, whether it be a hoarding situation or different things that we have to deal with within the community.
And if you need to pick up your paper, you can. Okay, good. Her paper took flight. So just curious, how many kennels do you have? I mean, primarily you're sheltering dogs, cats, puppies, and kittens, right?
So dog kennels, we have 29 dog kennels. And we have about 17 cat kennels. So it's not very many, but like I said, we move mountains. Last year alone, for intake numbers, we brought in 1,750.
Wow.
And that's 1 year of animals. Right now we're at 1,616. So we got a little ways to go, but I mean, with spaying and neutering as many animals as we are, we're hoping to keep dropping that intake number, especially with eliminating the unwanted pet population.
And so that's key to when you adopt a pet, a dog, cat, puppy, or kitten from Elko City Animal Shelter, that animal will come with some things ready to go, right? That's incredible.
Yes, it's great. You can adopt a dog for $85. That includes them getting spayed or neutered, microchipped, rabies vaccinated, and their first set of shots. Cats are the same. They get spayed or neutered, microchipped, rabies vaccinated, and their first vaccine. Some of the kittens and puppies, depending on if they come in, because sometimes they are wormy when they come in, they also get dewormed. So they are set up for their new home and their new families right out the door.
And that adoption fee is so reasonable. I have 3 kitties that live at my house, and oh my gosh, they probably cost me that much every month. I mean, because when you think about, right, they're your family.
Yes.
Yes. So you gotta consider that when you are adopting from the Elko City Animal Shelter. You're saving a pet's life. You're perpetuating that animal being spayed or neutered, so that means they're not contributing to the unwanted litters in the future.
Yep. And you're also, once you adopt, you're opening up a kennel for another animal too. So.
All right. So we want to make sure people know the best way to support the Animal City Animal Shelter, because the Elko City Animal Shelter, because it is really a regional facility, right, Alyssa?
So we take in animals both from the city and the county, so all of Elko County. things that can definitely help us out would be donations to our nonprofit Lasso, which helps with the spay-neuter clinic. If you come in, there's certain different donation areas that we have as well, which is, like our wellness program, which is our vaccines, our critical care, which is for our animals that come in injured, whether they were hit by a car, we make sure that they are cared for, until their owners can come or we can find a home for them.
Oh, those are all really important ways that you can contribute to the animal shelter. And then you like people to visit, right? To come and check it out in person. Yeah.
Yes, and we have wonderful yards outside. So, if you guys are looking for a new dog to add to the family, we love to do meet and greets just to make sure that it's going to go well once you guys get in your new homes. We have a little area in our office to bring kitties in so that, if you're bringing the kids in and they want to pet the kitty, so we can bring them in the office and they can do introductions as well.
And the shelter is open what days?
We are open 7 days a week unless it's a holiday, then we do go in and clean, but then we are closed for that day. But we are open 7 days a week. So Monday through Friday, we're open from 10 to 3. Saturday, we're from noon to 3, and Sunday from 11 to 2.
All right. And you do invite people to come in and meet all those prospective pets.
Yes, and we're always looking for volunteers as well. I know that we did close down the volunteers application for right now just because it's starting to get cold. But if you are truly interested and want to come volunteer at the shelter, please swing up. We can maybe do a volunteer form and get that to the HR, but yeah, please come up and visit, volunteer, come play with the animals. Everybody loves to do that.
I was just going to say everybody loves to do that. So that might be what you would do, right? You might help cleaning, or you might help exercising or acclimating the animals, right?
Yeah. Or if we have any events, if we need some posters made, or if we have anything that we want to do in the community, we ask for some help that way too. So if we have anything going on.
I've heard some great stories about young people that have been mentored at the animal shelter and that they have gone on to pursue careers in caring for animals. You know about some of those? Yeah.
Well, I don't know any personal stories,
Right.
but we have a lot of young kids that are coming in to do their hours for some of the school topics.
Oh, right. Because you would apply through HR, right? Okay.
Probably, yeah. So, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. So they come in for their school projects or community service?
So
or
there's the honor club for school.
right,
So
Key
we've had
Honor,
so we've had
the
yep.
Key
So we've
Club.
had some
Yeah.
yep. So we've had some younger kids come in to do their hours for donation that way, and it's just great seeing our community grow and actually have the experience of meeting some of these younger kids, and they are wonderful.
Oh, that's great. It's wonderful to hear about that too and what they're adding to. Now, are there commonly asked questions, maybe, Alyssa, or things that you're hoping the community, we could use this opportunity to let them know about the animal shelter?
I guess maybe one instance that we have heard multiple times is licensing. Animals are to be licensed both in the city and in the county. If you reside in any of those two areas, definitely get a current rabies certificate taken to either the animal shelter if you live in the city of Elko, or the county clerk's office if you live in the county. And I know the shelter does start selling their new license for 2025 towards the end of December. So we will be getting advertisement out in the Elko Daily Free Press and posting on social media and whatnot. But definitely be thinking about those because I know some people with animals that decide to get out, they get in trouble with animal control, and they definitely want to make sure that they are licensed.
Yeah, because it's a big fine, and nobody wants to pay a big fine. Yeah. So, and as I always tell my pets, you don't have pockets, so you don't pay any bills around here. I noticed. So,
Right.
Yeah. So,
And it's kind of nice to have them licensed because, that way animal control and the public also knows that they are current on their rabies vaccine if they do have that current city license or county license.
Which is very important, right?
Yes.
And I was just going to mention that if you do lose your pet, on our website, so we have two different ways that we tell people that we have pets that might belong to somebody, and we have a website, elkocity.com, and if you go to the animal shelter portion of that, there's pictures of the pets, and then also on our Facebook page, the volunteers of the Elko Animal Shelter. Those are both posted on there. And then I just want to give one more shout out to Alyssa. So what is amazing to me that they have accomplished this, her and her small team. And there are still a lot of situations in our community where they are hoarding situations. And it's heartbreaking. It's absolutely heartbreaking when there are hoarding situations. And I feel badly for the people who are the hoarders per se, or the owners of the animals, because they think that they're keeping all these animals because they love them so much and keeping them safe. But really, when there are so many, they tend to get diseased. They tend to be unhealthy, and then when they do come to the shelter, there's a chance that they get the other well animals sick. And Alyssa and our small team accomplished this with some hoarding situations that came into the animal shelter. So that's another subject. I think that it's important for people in the public to know that these hoarding situations are not positive for the animals. It's not a great way for them to live. And if you know of any hoarding situations, just know that it's just not the best environment for the animals.
You can reach out to local dispatch. We have at least the 2 animal control officers right now, right?
So we have a full-time and a part-time for the city, and then we have 2 full-time for the county.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so Katie and Seth are the city? Mm-hmm. Oh, good. They're. I haven't met Seth that I can recall, but I know Katie's, because for whatever reason, we seem to be a stray dog magnet. And so sometimes it's like, Katie, come help us get this puppy home. So, because like I said, having 3 kitties, they don't want any dogs in the house. So, so Katie is wonderful. We should mention, so what constitutes hoarding? How many animals are too many animals, Alyssa?
So it depends on where you're located and what the rule states, because the county differs from the city. And, in city limits, you're only allowed, it's verbiage of 3 animals. So that could be 2 dogs and a cat, could be 3 cats or 3 dogs. So definitely if you have any questions and you exceed this limit, maybe reach out to animal control and just kind of question on what you can do moving forward, as well as the county. And like you said, reaching out through dispatch, you call dispatch and then ask to speak with city or county animal control. And they can definitely answer all of the regulations that, are required for both city and county.
And that's the same number that you can call to report. So it's a non-emergency number. It's 775-777-7300. If you have concerns about animal welfare, maybe, if you notice this has happened out in the county, Alyssa, horses that are too thin or, at least animal control can check it out.
Yep. And, animal control is very happy to help the community with doing wellness checks and things like that. Even like Jan was talking, like these hoarding situations, being quiet about a major problem is, not helping the situation. Bringing light. So if you know of somebody or there is a problem that you see, definitely reach out to animal control. If you want to be kept anonymous, that can always, I think, be kept, in with them as well, so that you're not knowing. Mm-hmm. But, definitely speak up, because the animals can't speak up for themselves.
Right. And the other consideration, it's not healthy for the person, whether it's a family, if they're children, but too many animals also creates unsanitary conditions for people. So it's not healthy. And it often, and we hear this, so we know it's true, that hoarding any kind of animal like that, or even any kind of hoarding situation, that is usually an extension of a mental illness. So you could be helping that person by reporting it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, Alyssa. Thank you for reminding us of that. Again, if you have concerns, listeners, whether it's animals running at large or noises, or certainly if there's a bite, you have to report animal bites. That's really important. Or any concerns about cruelty or neglect, call the local dispatch number at 775-777-7300. Well, congratulations again on the no-kill designation, Alyssa. That's so fantastic.
Well, thank you so much. We are very excited, and we just want to continue moving forward, and we hope that we can, keep this trend moving forward. and cross every hurdle that we get to and stay on the successful side.
Absolutely. I'll mention one thing in closing, because I am one of the people in the community who got to call a very, very special person friend, and that was Ellen from the UPC, right? And I know Alyssa's nodding, and I don't know if Jan knows, but Ellen has passed away, and Ellen had a very special role that she took on in that she fostered a lot of baby kittens. She gave homeless people food for their animals. Oh, I'm so sorry, sweetie, but the reason I brought it up is because you and we want to know, what can we do if we donate food to the animal shelter? Can we make sure it gets to the places that Ellen, how do we fill the hole that Ellen has left in our hearts and in our community?
I truly don't know if we can fill that hole. I mean, she did amazing things for this community, not only for the animals, but the homeless people themselves. I remember calling her and she was taking one of them to the doctor, or, if there was an injured animal, she was helping them, getting them to the vet clinic. She's helped make sure that all of the animals at the homeless camp were fixed, vaccinated, fed, and then also the people themselves were taken care of. They were made sure that they were to the doctor, and she definitely had the biggest heart there was around. So I don't know what we can do to help. I don't. I know that they were taking a little step back. I know that Meadow, I think, needed to get some things situated with Animal House, but I don't know what they can do to help. I definitely can reach out to her, and if people are willing or need to donate or want to donate in regards to Ellen, I can see what I can do with Meadow and see what she would like to do.
All right, we can certainly do that, and then and I'm sure, Jan, we can work with you and just create more awareness. We could probably even do a proclamation. The mayor's really good about that, so that because she was definitely behind the scenes. She did not seek attention. But I remember I would go in the thrift store. She would have a little tiny kitten that she was nursing, because it had been abandoned or something, in her sleeve. She would just have animals everywhere and be caring for them and loving them all the time. And you may not know it because she might have a kitten in her sleeve, So
she definitely wasn't afraid to speak her mind either, which was, absolutely the best thing about her.
Yeah. And I don't know if Ellen got to vote, but I know that she wanted to vote, and she wanted all of us to vote too. So what a thought on today of all days.
Yeah, that's great.
Alyssa, thank you for. I'm not surprised you knew Ellen, and thank you, and we will work together, and we'll make sure that we can create a loving, lasting legacy in Ellen's name, okay?
Perfect.
All right. Thank you, listeners. Thank you so much for supporting this radio program and caring for the people and the animals in our community. We appreciate our guest today, our Elko City Animal Shelter Manager, Alyssa Mangum, and our City Manager, Jan Baum, two fantastic professionals in this community. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.